Pool liner ripped around the main drain after closing a pool. We had a company come and close our in-ground pool for this season. Then when they came to open the pool after removing the cover, the pool had completely drained and there was a huge tear around the main drain. I believe the pool rapidly drained immediately after closing due to the sound of water under the liner. I have tried every way to figure out why this happened. I do have a hydrostatic relief valve in the main drain. I believe possibly when the pool was being shut down for the season, blowing the lines may have opened this, allowing water to rapidly leak out. I've been told we don't need this type of valve in a vinyl liner pool. Is it possible the pool closing triggered this, creating the loss of the liner? Do you recommend using a hydrostatic relief valve with a new liner? The pool is 9 feet deep in the deep end.
So I would never recommend a hydrostat valve in a vinyl liner pool, and here's why. A hydrostat is designed to keep a structure from pushing out of the ground. So if there's a lot of ground pressure, it pushes that valve open, allowing water into the pool, i.e. gunite pool or even potentially fiberglass pool, although a fiberglass pool doesn't typically have a main drain pot in the bottom. If it's a vinyl liner pool, the beauty of the design of a liner pool is that the structure that holds the pool in the ground is separate from the envelope of water that holds the water itself. So if you got a big upswelling of water, the liner can move and you're not worried about something being pushed out of the ground. And that's why you don't really need a hydrostat valve. I've never really seen one successfully solve or fix or help anything. So to me, it's redundant, and in this case, potentially something that was a bad idea, because I guess there's a possibility, depending on how the main drain was plumbed, that when they blew water through to winterize it, I guess it could have opened that, although that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, because if the water was being blown up from the side, the bubbles would rise. Now I guess when you're pushing the water out, it would somehow catch on that hydrostat valve and lift it and open it, but
if it opened, wouldn't it come up into the pool?
well, so what would happen is you would what he's potentially claiming is that if water was pushed back into the main drain from the equipment and pushed the valve open, and the valve now got stuck open part way or something, and then over time it drained the pool out. The likelihood of that is pretty small. I'm not saying impossible. However, arguably that shouldn't have been there in the first place, which would mean that the person closing the pool shouldn't have had that issue in the first place, because those really are designed for a solid structure that potentially could get pushed out of the ground. In this case, you're not going to push the whole vinyl liner pool out of the ground. You're going to push the liner out of shape. And so I guess conceivably it's possible, although in the thousands and thousands of pools that I've closed over the years, gunite pools that would all have hydrostat valves, I've never seen ever a case where blowing the lines for winterization was enough to open that valve up. Now, I guess we could also argue that if that was a defective hydrostat valve that could pop open that easy, sure, but there's something inherently else wrong there. The closing itself should not have caused that. You might have had what we've certainly seen in gunite pools over the years. I'm going to try to relate this to a vinyl liner pool, but in gunite pools, we've had cases where we got a lot of rain, water got under the pool, pushed that valve open, and debris came up and stuck in the hydrostat valve, leaves and gunk and little twigs and organic stuff, and then when the water underground receded, that valve stayed open, and next thing you know, the vinyl liner or the gunite pool drained very rapidly. That's a possibility as well. Is that, I mean, conceivably, you drain some water out of the pool to winterize and blow out the lines. blow out the main drain, hydrostat pops open because there's ground pressure underneath, and now there's not as much water in the pool, which would open that valve. Something gets stuck in the valve, doesn't close properly, and the pool drains. So there's a lot of scenarios that I don't think we could even be able to specifically say, looking at it, what happened. But I wouldn't say personally that the closing did it, because there's a lot of other factors that could have gone into it as well. And unfortunately, in the process of that, then the liner tore as well. The only other possibility could be, I've seen, if it was really cold out and the liner was really old, I've seen someone throw, although this, we're talking the main drain at the very bottom of the pool, a 9-foot deep pool, so this isn't likely the case, but if the pool is shallower, I've seen someone throw the pump in, the end of the trash pump on a hose and hit a liner and break the liner because it was cold and brittle. But that's a rarity, and if it was a 9-foot deep, that wouldn't be the case at all. So let's just negate that. And I guess chalk it up to time for new liner. I would definitely not put the hydrostat valve back in. I would plug it